What's up, Duke? Thanks for coming on. I like your name, by the way, as well as your photo. It's a cute face. What, Duke, what do you think? Do you take positives away from that game Saturday? Hey, Brandon, thanks for joining us. Trying to give it a minute, see if anybody people jump on here. That's true. Duke Silver Server 81 said, well, we didn't let it get out of hand. I think we proved we can play with anybody, at least in the Big 12 anyway. I'm a little worried about Texas now. They look pretty dang good. And Baylor looks good. I know Duke Silver Surfer said the mistakes are always at the wrong time. Man, you ain't kidding. I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot, guys. I got a terrible sinus issue going on or something tonight. I'm out eating cough drops like it's crack cocaine over here. Duke Silver Surfer, what is your opinion of the quarterback situation? Do you think Daggy should start? Do you think Green should start? Or do you think he should do both like he has been? I don't know, Duke Silver Surfer. When he said when's Pikeview's homecoming, I honestly don't know. I said it out loud because Brandon Bailey's on here as well, so he might want to hear that. But I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. Now that my kids go to Princeton, so I've kind of become I got adopted into the Tiger family, unfortunately. But I go to a lot of their games. Duke Silver Surfer 81 says, "Hey Brandon, Duke, is it okay if I really tell him who you are? I didn't know if you wanted the public to know your real name or not. I don't think anybody else is on here. They're not. It's Virgil Kennedy. Brandon's on here. If you see somebody comment under the name Duke Silver Surfer 81 with a little pug, I think is that a pug? What kind of bulldog is that, Verge? Brandon Bailey says, As the hours and days went by, I gathered myself and realized that it's not the end of the world. Man, I was so upset after that game the other night, man. I was heartbroken. And then I got up Sunday morning and thought, you know what? You know what makes me come to the realization? I see all these other fans post on Facebook and how stupid it sounds. And I wake up and go, wait a minute. I don't want to be that guy. Brandon Bailey said, hey, man, what's up, Verge? I thought that was a pug. Cute little dog, man. We have an ourselves out their own little Pikeview homecoming here tonight. Verge, are you still living in Morgantown, by the way? Since it's just us on here. I agree with you, Duke. I was thinking about that today, Duke Silver Surfer. I had to travel a long way today for work. I listened to a couple other podcasts and YouTube channels. And there's one I was listening to. They were talking about everybody's crowning Nico as a starter next year, which kind of worries me because, I do think he's going to be good. Man, he's going to be a true freshman. It's hard for a true freshman to start in Power 5 college football unless you're just extremely, extremely gifted. Not that he's not, but it's a rare exception to those rules, man. It's almost like everybody wants Green and Crowder gone so that Nico can start. And I think we need to be careful with that. We don't want to run these guys off. They could be the future of the program. I would like to see Crowder a little bit. I'm with you. I think Crowder's probably the best thrower between him and Green. He just don't have Green's mobility, I don't guess, and he doesn't have Green's got an extra year in the offense. Brandon says, yeah, if we didn't get emotional, we wouldn't be true West Virginia fans. We're going to be just fine. I really like how Brown has his players' backs. It hurt him deeply to lose, especially for his players. Yeah, he did. Duke, did you have a chance to listen to Coach Brown's post-game press conference? That's what Brandon's referring to. Duke says, that's true. I agree. I just want a leader like White or Greer. Me too, man. I tell you, I used to talk pure crap about Skylar Howard when he was our quarterback. But I look back on it now, man, and realize that guy, he used to drive me insane with his overthrows. But, man, he just won football games. It was crazy. It's like he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn on some of his passes, but they'd win. Because he'd do things with his feet. He was great on the long ball, and he had Shelton Gibson there to run underneath it. But he'd miss all those short balls. But Garrett Green kind of reminds me of him a little bit. He seems like he's got that same moxie about him, that it factor. Have you guys thought about that at all? I think Skylar Howard's a very underrated quarterback for us. I didn't like him when he was here, but now that I've had time to reflect and look back on it, he actually was a good quarterback because he won. I mean, that's his quarterback's job. Duke says, I did at the gym the next day. I like Neil, but the conservative calls kill me. I agree, man. Yeah, he would have done well under Rich Rod. Yes, he would have. Brandon Bailey says, I love Skylar, tough as nails. He was tough, man. I did like him. I always thought he was too cocky. I've never been one. I don't like cocky quarterbacks, but they're usually the best ones, honestly. And I always thought he was a little too cocky. But man, he was tough. And he just won football games, man. He found ways to win. Of course, we had a really good defense when he was here, too. So somebody else is on, I think. Who's on with us? Showing 4 participants. They'll probably chime in a minute. Duke Silver Surfer says, honestly, I miss Rich Rod. He knew how to finish and win games. Hate things went the way they did. Me too. I've forgiven Rich Rod, and plus, once I heard his side of the story, I don't know that it wasn't the university's fault he left, to be honest. Apparently, they reneged on some promises. So he told him to kick rocks, basically. Man. I'm trying to figure out who the fourth participant is. Either YouTube can't count or there's somebody in here that's not, their name's not popped up yet. Is there anybody else on here besides Duke Silver Surfer and Brandon Bailey? Now it's down to 3. Weird. Brandon says, man, I liked Rich Rod. Pat White made him, in my opinion. Outside of White, he just didn't do much of anything anywhere. Let me think about that in a minute. He had some winning season before Pat got here, didn't he? But I would welcome him back with open arms if he was to come back. Yeah, I would too. I've always thought it'd be cool if he came back as our offensive coordinator. Wouldn't that be something? And with Castile's already here. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but Jeff Castile's an assistant coach on the staff. He was the one that taught him about the Tech rivalry. Duke Silver Surfer Foles. What are you talking about, Duke? Foles. What do you mean, Foles? You talking about Nick Foles? Did he coach Nick Foles? That's right. I had forgot that Nick Foles went to Arizona. That's a great point. He did. He had a good. I'll tell you what. If he hadn't got into that scandal in Arizona, I think he'd still be there. Couldn't keep it in his pants. I think he had one or two average seasons there, and then he got that scandal, and that was the reason for them to boot him. But I think he could have got him turned back around. But man, they've been a dumpster fire since he left. They might be one of the worst teams in Power 5 right now, outside of Vanderbilt and maybe Colorado. I don't know. This thing still keeps showing 4 participants, and there's only 3 of us on here. It's really weird. Duke says Michigan didn't want anything to do with the run and gun. Too many geezers on the board there. I recommend. Did you guys know that Rich Rod has a podcast called Hard Edge Football? I haven't listened to any of his recent episodes, but I listened to a few from last year. And he talks about that. He talks about Michigan, man. Michigan was just, he talks about how hard it is to win there because of the culture. I mean, in a nutshell, they think they're better than everybody else. And they never thought he was good enough. So they worked against him from the day he got there. He basically had no chance. Kind of makes you feel bad for him a little bit. He kind of got treated like garbage because he wasn't a Michigan man. If they'd have gave him one more year, he'd have won. When you come into a place and bring in a whole new system, it takes at least 4 years to win, in my opinion. That's why I think what Brown's done in his short amount of time is pretty good. Yeah, how about them Wolfpack, Brandon? Brandon, you called that one. Let me ask you two guys a question. I'm thinking about going back and just trying to focus more on West Virginia content on my channel instead of getting off onto so many other things. Brady Hook got booted. Yep. Would y'all rather me stick to West Virginia stuff, or do you like the fact that I branch out and do other stuff too? I really want to know because I'm thinking about West Virginia is what I'm comfortable with and it's what I enjoy the most. But I do enjoy looking into the other teams. And to be honest, I'm doing so many videos, I'm kind of burning myself out. So I've thought about cutting back and not doing quite so many. But if you guys enjoy, and plus I've noticed I'm not getting as much. It doesn't seem like people are watching the other ones as much, and I'm not getting as much reaction from them. Talking about the national videos about other teams, but the West Virginia stuff seems to get a lot more reaction and interest. I want to know what you two guys are two of my most loyal viewers, and I want to know what y'all think. Y'all want me to stick? Because I've even wanted to do a couple basketball videos, but I was kind of afraid because it was football season that people wouldn't be interested in it. Because, the WVU basketball schedule came out. I wanted to talk about that. And then today, Hugs had a press conference. I haven't got to listen to it yet. Oh, Brandon Duke said that was a great pick you picking NC State, by the way. Was a good pick. And I picked Texas A&M to beat Arkansas. I might start gambling. Hours, oh my gosh, man. I got to get 4,000 hours plus 1,000 subscribers. It's a lot of work, man. I love doing it though. But man, it's kind of, I love doing it, but it's got to where it's pretty much all I get off work and it's pretty much all I do. And I feel like I'm neglecting my other responsibilities to an extent. I don't know if anybody's going to join, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what the announcement is. Brandon says, man, I love college football talk in general. Don't get burnt out. You don't have to do videos every day, but I know I don't. But I've been trying to get, when you do stuff, see the videos I'm doing, because it's an in-season niche, with football, college sports. These aren't channels that are going to be viewed. Hey, Kevin Hager's in, guys. Kevin, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Branch out. Okay, Kevin wants me to keep branching out. I appreciate that. When I branch out, sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing it justice because I don't know as much about the other teams. So I don't feel like I'm giving them their proper due. I mean, I do some research and stuff, don't get me wrong, but I do try to prepare for my videos. I don't just guess, but no, I'm not going to give up, guys. Don't get me wrong. What I was getting to is if a lot of YouTubers do stuff like videos that are valuable year round. Nobody's going to go back and watch a West Virginia Oklahoma preview 6 months from now, right? So you kind of have to put a lot of videos out in order to for people to keep viewing them, because it's just a niche I'm in. Duke Silver Surfer says, carry over to basketball too, man. I'm game for that content. Kevin Hager, are you a basketball fan as well or just football? Out of curiosity. I'm great, man. Kevin Hagers, I'm good, man. Glad you are. Brandon says there's no way to cover all the games or teams. I think it's cool how you pick one big matchup and break it down. Yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of stick to, man, because I think if I try to do too many, there's no way for me to do it justice. So I figure picking one game outside the conference, outside of WVU, and I can kind of spend time researching those teams, and I enjoy doing it. It helps you learn a lot more about other teams, and it honestly makes me more interested in the sport. than I know Mike would. I mean, I've always been interested. Don't get me wrong, but it's, you know what I mean. It's just more interesting. It makes you want to watch the games. If you've researched the game and looked up the stats, and it makes you want to watch it to see how it turns out. Duke Silver Surfer says, I've been going back and watching old football games like from the 1993 undefeated season. What a team we had. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't watched. I've went back. The most recent game I guess I've rewatched would be the Clemson game. And then I've went as far back as the 2006 Sugar Bowl. I think it was 2006 when we beat Georgia. Sorry, Kevin. Kevin Eggers, a Georgia fan. I think that's the oldest game I went back and watched. I've never been able to get into the old games, but now that 93 one might be interesting because I vaguely remember watching them play Florida. Interestingly enough, Don Needham was playing two quarterbacks then. That's one of the few times the two quarterback system has worked that successfully. Brandon Bailey says, me too, Duke. I spent a lot of time this past winter doing that. Kevin Hager says, mostly football. My soon-to-be father-in-law is set for me to be a WVU basketball fan. I don't know. I bleed black and red. LOL. There's no problem with that. Nothing wrong with black and red. It's better than hokey orange and maroon. Duke Silver Surfer says, to see some of the names on these rosters back then. Yeah. I remember Jake Kelchner and Darren Studstill were our quarterbacks. One that could throw and one that could run. Kind of like today, right? Brandon Bailey says mostly basketball games back when Pittsnoggle was. Oh yeah, no, I do watch. I have watched a couple of those. I forgot about that. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the announcement I told you. So I don't know if anybody's going to pop on or not. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with a guy named John Kurtz. He has his own YouTube channel, but he does some Kansas State stuff. He's from Manhattan, Kansas. He's a Kansas State alum, and he has a radio show out there, and he has his own YouTube channel where he talks. He's been talking about conference realignment basically every day. But he's gotten to be pretty popular. He's been one of the most consistent, I guess, media members, or whatever you want to call it, putting stuff out about the realignment. I was actually had the pleasure of interviewing him last night on my channel. And that video is going to be published at 6:00 p.m. tomorrow night. It's about it's about conference realignment. It's about he and I are making the case that the new Big 12 is going to be better on the field, or at least as good on the field, if not better, than the Pac-12 and the ACC. And we've got a little bit of some data to support it. Duke Silver Surfer says Robert Walker was a stud running back. Yes, he was, man. West Virginia's had some great running backs. I was thinking the other day. Matter of fact, that's actually one of the things I've been thinking about what I can do during the off season. I think I'm gonna try to do some top 10 lists. And I was thinking about maybe doing the top 10 running backs in WVU history. That's one of the things. So that's interesting that you put that up there, Duke Silver Surfer, because that's one of the things on my list to do. Brandon Bailey says, heck yeah, that's awesome. Look forward to. You talking about the John Kurtz thing, or are you talking about the top 10 running backs? I probably should have shared this on Facebook. Might have helped me get some people on. Heck yeah, Duke Silver Surfer said, heck yes, man, top plays and plays throughout the. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking, I wanted to. It was too late in the week before I thought about it, but I thought I should have went back. I wanted to go back and do the top 10 West Virginia players and top 10 Virginia Tech players that participated in the Black Diamond game. I thought that would have been cool. Brandon Bailey says, no, the interview you talked about. Yeah. Do you guys know who John Kurtz is? Marty. Hey, Marty. What's up, man? Shout out. Marty King says, shout out from me and JPC, the Alabama Cowboy from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Roll Tide. Uh-oh. Now we have a Georgia fan and Alabama fan both on here. It could get ugly. And Marty, I appreciate the shout out. Appreciate it, man. You guys have been supporting me, and I really appreciate that. Did you guys hear the announcement? Who left? Somebody left. I don't know. It says some people left. This thing's doesn't count very good. Definitely heard of him, says Duke Silver Surfer. Marty King, did you hear my announcement? Or did you get on here in time? I think JPC will appreciate it. For sure. I'm really excited about it, man. I'm hoping it'll help me out. Marty, the announcement was I had the privilege of interviewing John Kurtz last night on my channel. And I'm going to be airing that video. That video is going to be published on YouTube at 6 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow evening. We are making the case that the newly formed Big 12 with the 4 new teams, minus Oklahoma and Texas, are going to be as good or better on the football field than the Pac-12 and the ACC, mainly the Pac-12. J&J Outlaw Sports says, the professional smack talker is here, the Alabama Cowboy, JPC, J&J Outlaw Sports. What's up, JPC? Good to have you in here, man. But I was so nervous to interview John last night. It was I told John afterwards when we cut the tape off, I said, man, I look at you as kind of a celebrity, so I was a bit nervous. But he's a cool guy, man. He really is. I can't believe he honestly, I can't believe he done it for a newbie like me. But he's so passionate about the Big 12, man. Most passionate guy I've ever seen. Duke Silver Surfer says, I'm still holding out hope for the ACC. By 2023, the rivals from football and basketball, that would be great. I agree, Duke. Deep down, I would still like to go to the ACC for those reasons. But I also will always have a place in my heart, I think, for the Big 12 now because we've been in it for 10 years. And I want to, even if we do leave, I want to see it succeed. Marty Keene says, I'll tune in tomorrow. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's not going to be a live thing. So it'll be up for a while, but it's not going to be published until 6 o'clock. Duke Silver Surfer says, the PVTV experience helping out, man. It's funny. I was thinking about that the other day. Oh, Lord. I did always have, when I was younger, I did always want to be like a sportscaster or something. But I just never went. When I did PVTV, and I didn't like all the behind the camera crap, so I never pursued it. But here I am, midlife crisis, I guess. Marty Keene says 10-4. Duke Silver Surfer says, those were fun times, man. Yes, they were. If y'all don't know, Duke Silver Surfer and I went to high school together, as well as Brandon Bailey, who's on here too. And I did we had our own school news channel called PVTV. And I was, me and Virgil were both in that class, and we did some on-camera stuff. Virgil, you were in there, weren't you? Senior year, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all should have seen me dressed up like Cupid. That was I think that was junior year. Actually, I did that one. Ended up in the yearbook, believe it or not. That might be something I should put on my channel. I might get some attention. Oh gosh, I actually had hair then, believe it or not, JPC. Brandon and Duke Silver Surfer remember me when I had hair. We even emceed a dance. You know we did, didn't we? I forgot about that. Man, I've forgotten half the crap I did in high school. Mark Waleka, thanks for joining us, Mark. WVU defense is legit. Nothing but respect for you guys as a Maryland fan. Was rooting hard for you again. Appreciate that, Mark. Hey, you guys got a good team. I tried to tell people, everybody bashed West Virginia for losing to Maryland. I tried to tell people Maryland's a good football team, but nobody listens to me. They're a good team, man. They're talented. Marty Keene says JPC and I have been friends for 40 plus years, but I've had to distance myself ever since he started telling people we will spend the night tight. I'll tell you what, man. When Alabama and West Virginia play each other, I've got to meet you guys because y'all are friggin' hilarious. I bet y'all are, golly, I bet y'all could get in some trouble. But no, Mark, back to Maryland, man. I hope you guys do well in the Big Ten. I have a lot of respect for y'all's coach, man, and the way he does things. He's the real deal. Change Outlaw Sports. WVU fans need to calm their nerves. They are competing at a much higher level and one of the best 2-2 teams in the land. I agree. I don't know what to deal with our fans. Our fans think we're supposed to. They act like we're Alabama, man. We lost by 3 to the number 4 team in the country, and everybody's acting like we friggin' lost to Bluefield State College. It's the ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Our fan base is delusional, man. And I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I get emotional and aggravated too, but once I step back and reflect on it, I kind of come to my senses and realize the reality of the situation, you know. Mark Willeka, Iowa Friday will be interesting. Yes, it will, Mark. I hope you guys win that game. I've never been a huge Iowa fan for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're Iowa. I don't know. Brandon, I agree. Our fans need to chill the heck out. Duke Silver Surfer, I'm hoping to come to the Tech game in Blacksburg next year. Same. I was supposed to went to the one in Morgantown, man, and my daughter got COVID, so I ended up not going. Didn't figure I should risk it. Plus, I didn't want to leave. We didn't want to leave her at home. That would have kind of been a crappy parenting move, wouldn't it? My kids got COVID, but I'm going to the game anyway. Mark says Iowa Friday night will be interesting to see if Taulia is really just very good. I think he is, man. I think he's got the gene. I mean, West Virginia's lost two games by a total of 9 points to 2 undefeated teams. Nothing to be ashamed of right there. And I think Maryland's going to shock some people this year. Won't be shocking me because I knew they were good before they played West Virginia. James Outlaw Sports. WVU is progressing upward. They will compete for the playoffs by 2023. I think you might be right, J&J, because you think about what they got coming back next year. They're almost their entire offensive line will be back. They'll have 3 quarterbacks that are either juniors, sophomores, or freshmen. In Green, Crowder, and that new kid, Nico, who a lot of people think may start as a freshman. He's so good. All of our receivers will be back next year. We're losing Letty, which is a big loss, but, man, we pretty much got our whole offense back next year. Not that they're great, but, I mean, we're still pretty young, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Brandon Bailey says, we have been in every game this year and had a chance in both games. Absolutely. We're 2 plays away from being 4-0 right now. Think about that, 2 plays. I looked at the Oklahoma game as a measuring stick game, and I didn't at first, but after reflecting, I think, you know what? I think if you look at that as a measuring stick game, West Virginia measures up because they every time they've ever played Oklahoma, they looked outmatched. Since they've been in the Big 12, they've looked outmatched. You could tell Oklahoma was just 10 times better and had more talent. Other than the year we had Greer and those guys, but other than that, I mean, for the most part, they've always just outclassed us and out-athleted us. They didn't do that this year. And that's, I think, 1, it goes to Brown's recruiting. I think, 2, it goes to his player development. And just the team's moxie, man. I think they've got a little bit of swagger to them now that they didn't have before. It's a confidence, not a cockiness, but a confidence. And I think they want to go out and play for each other. And I think they'd run for a wall for each other. I think that's a big part of it. I think Brown is a master at building team camaraderie and chemistry. It's one of the things I love about him. Duke Silver Surfer 81 says maybe we will get them at the end of the season rematch. Man, I hope so. I really hope so. But I don't know. I don't know that they'll win the conference this year. Texas looked awful good Saturday. It's crazy. Texas looks terrible one week, and then they turn around and win, score 70. I just can't figure them out. Oh, oh, and by the way, another thing I've got in store. I'm hoping to do this, guys. I ain't gonna guarantee it yet, but I'm actually going up to Morgantown next week for the game, or this weekend, and I think I'm going to try. They've got the new Hall of Traditions up there with all the WVU memorabilia and all that, and I'm going to. My plan is to video that and then post it on my channel. J&J Outlaw Sports says dark horse national champ for everyone. Dark horse means possible Cinderella to win it all. Mine is BYU. You know what, J&J? I think there are. I was actually sitting here thinking about tonight sometime getting started on my top 12 for this week. They're highly underrated in my opinion. Highly underrated. I think they can play with anybody. Most anybody. I don't know that they can compete with Georgia and Alabama, but pretty much anybody else. Arkansas don't look too shabby either. I've been impressed by them. Duke, I think you were trying to write something there. Brandon Batty says, I was big on BYU until this past weekend's game against South Florida. Every team has bad games, though. Didn't they win pretty handily, Brandon? J&J says, let me go share this out. Be right back. Thank you, man. You know what? I ain't even shared it on my own friggin' Facebook. some content creator I am. Live stream. Talk some college football. Sorry, guys, I'm thinking out loud here as I type. News feed. Post to Facebook. All Duke says I'll probably watch it at Kegler's. You know what, man? I've always wanted to go to Kegler's. I've heard it's a pretty cool place. I've always wanted to go there when they're doing the coaches show, but I'm never in town when they're doing the coaches show. Brandon Buddy says no, they only won by one score. Was it like? Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought it was bigger than that. Brandon Buddy says it's Ole Miss for real. I guess we will see this weekend. Yeah, Brandon, I'm wondering too, man. I don't know if are they like West Virginia was a few years ago and all offense and no defense. That's what because if that's the case, they're not going to beat Alabama. Number one, because they're not going to score 60 on Alabama. And two, Alabama's offense is pretty dang good too. So, but it will be interesting to see if Lane can beat his old boss. Nobody else has been able to do it. If y'all get a chance, J&J Outlaw Sports actually just did a video on that, on the Ole Miss Alabama game. Talked about that. If y'all, I don't know, y'all go watch that. Watch that if you get a chance. It was a good one. Well, Kevin left and Mark Waleka left. It is kind of late though. I'm actually in the Central Time Zone right now, believe it or not. So it's only 9:40. It's only 8:40 to me. I almost got on here. It would have been. It just sucks if I got on here at 10 o'clock tonight. Wouldn't nobody on here, would it? I was watching the Golden Blue Dudes top 25 earlier, and he said he don't think North Carolina State deserves to be ranked because he don't think Clemson deserves to be ranked either because they're still ranked, believe it or not. Do y'all think NC State deserves to be ranked after beating Clemson, even though they've lost to Mississippi State? BYU definitely has some tough games. They do, Brandon. I don't look for them to go undefeated, but I do think that they're underrated at the moment. I mean, they've beaten three Power Five schools. I think they're the only team in the nation that's done that, to my knowledge, or at least they were last week. I think that deserves. I mean, they are ranked. Don't get me wrong, but I think they should be ranked higher. Thanks, J&J. I appreciate it. J&J Outlaw Sports says back. Shared this live to about 8 groups. I have to do this on my laptop because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, and I ain't real good at using my laptop to share things because it's a whole different setup. I did share it to my Facebook wall though, so hopefully somebody will see it. Brandon Betty said, "Absolutely, they do." Did y'all see the play in the BYU game, the one against Arizona State, where their running back fumbled? They turned it over. The running back chased the guy down from behind and punched the ball out, and they recovered it. Hey, John Kelly, glad to see you, man. I've wondered where you'd been. Hadn't seen you in a while. Welcome aboard, brother. John Kelly's on there, everybody. John's another one of my very loyal viewers. Also saw you over on the Mountaineer Effect the other day. Those are actually friends of mine. Brandon Bailey, who's on here, and Duke Silver Surfer 81, who's on here. We all went to school with the guys, or some of the guys that do. We went to school with Sam the Man on Mountaineer Effect. John Kelly been out all day. Was at the VA. All day. That's cool, man. Hope everything's okay. I wasn't referring to today. I was just talking about. Hadn't seen you comment on my videos lately. I figured you. I know y'all got better things to do than watch my videos, so it's all good. Give rise to the VA. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's a good thing to do, man. Those veterans, they deserve anything we can do for them, for what they've given us. J&J Outlaw Sports says we all need to get together for a neutral bowl game, like we all meet up at the Music City Bowl. Affordable, but a great city and great time. Music City Bowl, that's Nashville, I think, right? That's actually on my. I've been to Nashville one time. It was for a work function, and I only got to spend about 2 hours downtown, but it was an absolute blast. And I would love to go back and take my wife. She would love it. We've been talking about it, but it's just kind of far for us, and we really haven't had the chance. That would be awesome, though, J&J, man. Great idea. John Kelly, give me your thoughts on Mountaineers the rest of the season. Saw your video. John Kelly says, saw your video over the weekend. OU game took a few days to get over. We were pretty close. I still hope this offense starts producing. I'm with you, John. If our offense was just decent, or I don't know, they are decent, I guess. If our offense was just marginally better, we would be undefeated right now, in my opinion, and could beat anybody in the country, or at least play with anybody in the country. Because our defense, I still don't think our defense is getting enough respect. Did y'all, by the way, Holly Rowe put out a tweet the other night from ESPN. She put out a tweet about how good our defense was. J&J Outlaw Sports says, give you some J&J dance lessons. Woo! J&J likes, he's always throwing in some kind of Ric Flair or Stone Cold, which I can appreciate because I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. John DeLone, the false start and the botch snap. Yeah, it did. John, that and the, of course, that day he did have that one terrible throw in the end zone that he missed. That didn't help us either, but I'm not blaming him for the game, but that throw didn't help. But yeah, you're right. And that, man, our fans have been hounding Zach Frazier over that snap. The kid's a sophomore in college, and he's a West Virginia kid. It's ridiculous. I'm so pissed off about that. I can't see straight. But anyway, I don't want to. John Kelly says offensive line still is young, but we got a hell of a defense. Yes, we do, man. And that's what we were talking about earlier, John, man. Our offensive line, if I'm not mistaken, are all underclassmen too. Gamitter might be a senior, but man, we got such a young team. I mean, the only guy we're going to lose off the offense more than likely is Letty Brown. I mean, he's a big loss, but we've got Justin Johnson and we've got that Jalen Anderson kid who finally signed and got on campus. He's a 4-star recruit. I'm telling you, man, our fans just need to be patient because we are 1 to 2 years away from competing with the big boys. I'm telling you, I really feel it in my bones. Duke Silver Surfer says they need to work on red zone scoring. It's tough taking a 4-point swing when we were right there. I agree, Duke Silver Surfer. I actually thought they should have used Garrett Green on that 3rd and 5 instead of bringing Daggy back in. I think he could have got us 5 yards, man. John Kelly said, yeah, it takes patience. It's hard, though, as a fan. I mean, I got frustrated the other night. I really did. Because it was a heartbreaker. But, man, when you look back on it, Oklahoma's a heck of a team, man. It ain't like they're a slouch. James Outlaw Sports as Marshall says they deserve to be in the ACC or WVU because of Byron Leftwich's alumni status alone. Is that actually true? Because if that's true, that's one of the dumbest things. But I'll be honest with you, man. I know some Marshall fans that are cool, but there's a huge portion of the Marshall fans that are absolutely idiotic. They will talk pure trash to West Virginia fans, and they've never beat us one time in football. Not one time. John DeLon, it always pisses me off when fans blame a young, inexperienced player when the majority of the time it's the recruiting coordinator's fault for not having enough foresight. Very true, John. I agree with you. And so, a lot of people are blaming the fact that Green ain't ready on Coach Brown. They thought he'd be ready. Maybe he should have spent more time in the playbook. You can't put everything on. It's a group effort. John Kelly says Ohio State is like number 11 and their player quit in the middle of a game. I also follow the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's brutal on social media with all the fan bases lately. Yeah, John, I agree, man. People are just I don't know. People are just people. I think some people are just bitter people in general, so they take it out on everybody else. Duke Silver Surfer says, I don't know if you watch Peyton and Eli. I have not, man. I've been missing that. I haven't watched one NFL game this year. I've been so dang busy. James Outlaw Sports says, yeah, I am just BSing. Okay, I'm glad but I'll be honest, that wouldn't surprise me. Hey, in all seriousness, though, Byron Leftwich is the freaking dude, man. J&J, did you watch that game several years ago when he was quarterback at Marshall and they had to carry him down the field to finish a drive? And they won. I think they ended up winning the game. That dude was a freaking beast. I have a lot of respect for him. And I like Marshall. I cheer for Marshall when they're not playing West Virginia because they're an in-state school. But some of their fans are just ridiculous. Brandon Bailey, social media has given fans more of a voice and it has changed things. It has. And, when I started this YouTube thing, I told myself I'm not going to get on here and bash the players and coaches. I try to give my opinion, but I try to do it in a respectful way because what if one of them happens to watch it sometime and I'm on here calling them names and saying they suck? I don't want to be that guy. James Outlaw Sports says, yes, that was epic. Byron is the man. John Kelly says the Steelers fans want their Hall of Fame quarterback and coach fired 3 games in the season. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Mike Tomlin's probably the second or third best coach in the NFL. John DeLon, I'd be willing to bet that most of the people on social media who are brutal on college players are Johnny-come-lately football fans that never played a snap. Very true. Duke Silver Surfer, he told Pat McAfee that Arch was coming to view. Totally kidding, but man, that would be awesome. You know what? I saw that. I did see that. I saw the clip of that. I didn't see it when it happened. A lot of people actually took that literal, man, and started. There was one guy who does a lot of clickbait media stuff. I'm not going to name his name, but he ticks off a lot of people because he'll post some kind of clickbait and then the story is not even true. But he posted that as clickbait, and a lot of people actually believed it. I mean, if you watch it, you can tell he was kidding. And then some people took offense by it because they thought Peyton was making fun of West Virginia, but I don't think that was his intent. His intent was just to give Pat McAfee a hard time. But I'll be honest with you, Pat McAfee, in my opinion, might be the best spokesperson for West Virginia University. I think he's good for our brand. John Kelly says, I don't see our defensive WVU getting any worse next season. Plus, we'll finally be getting Neil Brown QBs in the system with a better O-line. Yes. And he did bring Daggy in, but I think he brought Daggy in and Kendall too. In my mind, he brought those guys in as placeholders because he had to have somebody. and he knew the guys that were on roster at the time weren't going to work. So he had to go out and get a couple transfers that he thought would, if nothing else, would just be good game managers. That's what I think he did. Duke Silver Surfer says, yeah, great ambassador. Jane J says, Ohio State and WVU are somewhat close. They ought to do it home and home. That wouldn't be, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, they'd probably blow our doors off, but then I'd be pissed off because I hate Ohio State. But John DeLon says, getting Arch Manning isn't an instant natty by any means. No, it's not. And I'll be honest, I'm so excited about this Nico kid. I'm not as excited as a lot of fans just because the kid's going to be a freshman. I mean, and we've been let down by big-time recruits in the past. So I hate to get too excited, but, man, he looks so good. Brandon Bailey says, I love Pat. He's great. Yes, he is. John Kelly, the 22nd to 25th highest recruiting class in the FBS next year. Absolutely, John. Highest one in school history. But yet fans want to fire the guy. He recruited better in 1 year than Dana Holgorsen did in 5. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm not trashing Dana. That's just the truth. Dana wasn't a great recruiter. Duke Silver Surfer, 4 Chiswell total bust. They may have been due to Dana. Oh, yeah, 4 Childress, yes, he was a bust. James Outlaw Sports, Rich Rod could have been special had he not left. Yeah, I agree. I agree, J&J, man. We were talking about that earlier, really, before you come on. How we miss him sometimes. But most fans hate him at the time, but I think most people are forgiving him now. Plus, once you get a chance to hear his side of the story of why he left, it kind of makes you wonder if maybe it was even his fault. Brandon Bailey says, I've enjoyed this guy's got to run 5 a.m. coming early. See y'all next. Hey, see you, Brandon, man. Thanks for hopping on here, buddy. You're always supporting me, man. I appreciate you. John Kelly's Tennessee and Miami have kept their coaches an average of like 2.3 years for over a decade. I know. SEC's got this stinking mindset. If you can't beat Alabama, you fire your coach. Well, heck, nobody beats Alabama. I mean, it's just an unrealistic expectation. Duke Silver Surfer, sorry, typing on this iPad is tough. No worries, buddy. I know for the most part, I pretty much know what you're saying. John Kelly's night, Brandon. Duke, later, Brandon. Y'all guys, I really appreciate y'all hopping on here. It means a lot to me. Just an old country boy from West Virginia, West by God. John, I don't know if you were on here when I made my announcement. I don't think. Neither John. John DeLon says SEC teams are backing off the fire coaches if you can't beat Bama thing because Nick isn't going to be around much longer. They need to back off of that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Duke Silver Surfers anytime, man, enjoy it just as much. John says, I think WVU might get 30 points next Saturday at home, maybe win by 10 or more. Man, if they can't score 30 on Texas Tech, they got problems. But what the announcement I made earlier, the 2 Johns, I actually was blessed and very humbled to be able to interview John Kurtz last night, man, and about conference realignment. And that video will be published on YouTube at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Very, very cool stuff, man. That guy's one of my favorites. He's pretty popular in the Big 12 circles. Heck, even college football for that matter. His channel has grown like friggin' wildfire. But he's already in media. He's a radio host and a play-by-play guy, so he already had he was already pretty well known before he started, I guess. John Kelly, Coos, what's your opinions of Texas and Baylor after this past weekend? Man, Texas is strange because they look terrible one week and then they pour 70 on Texas Tech. They're both good. I think Baylor and Texas are both good teams, especially offensively, and they're going to be tough. I think the Big 12 is going to be a lot better this year than people thought going in. TCU losing to SMU was shocking, but I still think TCU is a good team. I just think SMU is good as well. So it's going to be a tough. It's not going to be an easy road to get through this conference unscathed. That's for sure. J&J says, instead of worrying about Alabama, they need to worry about making their own legacies. No one has ever won 6 of 12 titles. Absolutely, J&J. It doesn't make, my boss and I talked about that one time about, it's like, okay, you lost to Alabama, you're fired. It's kind of like the Michigan-Ohio State thing. The last 3 coaches at Michigan ain't been able to beat Ohio State. So, I mean, I know it's Jim Harbaugh, but still, I mean, that'd be like firing Dana Holgorsen because he can't beat Oklahoma. West Virginia didn't do that. I mean, they mutually parted ways, but it wasn't because he couldn't beat Oklahoma. It was because he wanted a longer contract, more money, and we wouldn't give it to him. And I think he wanted to go to Houston anyway. I don't think Dana liked being at West Virginia too much. He didn't like the spotlight. The football coaches, but other than Bob Huggins, the football coach is probably the most famous person in the state, and he didn't like that. In Houston, he's just another guy because it's such a big city and they're a pro sports town. John DeLon, Texas has the same problem Ohio State has. They don't like it when they expect the other team to roll over for them and punches them in the mouth. Absolutely. I agree. John Kelly, Baylor and OK State next weekend. Texas and TCU, OU, and K-State, good games. Yes. I tell you what, I was surprised at OK State beat Kansas State the way they did. But I was listening to a little bit of John Kurtz earlier today, and he was talking about apparently Texas or Kansas State had to play their third-string quarterback for a lot of that game, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. And I'm anxious to see the Texas TCU too, if Texas is really that good or not. Because if they are, they should put it on TCU pretty well too. I'll tell you who scares me about Texas. Texas got the running back at Bijan Robinson. That cat he's a monster. He's a beast. And I think, K-State's been a thorn in Oklahoma's side, man. I don't know what it is, but Oklahoma has a hard time with those guys. It's funny. Kansas State beats Oklahoma 2 years in a row. West Virginia beats Kansas State 2 years in a row, and West Virginia can't beat Oklahoma. It's funny. Got to love sports, man. Got to love sports. J&J, Jim Harbaugh and his ass clown satellite camps in Rwanda will finally beat Ohio State. Woo. I can't do the woo. I ain't going to do the woo on here, man. It's embarrassing. Plus my voice. Plus I'm in a hotel. I don't want to wake people up. John Kelly, Texas scored 70 for a conference record since WVU over Baylor, but TCU is 9-2 against Texas. Yeah, TCU's had Texas' number. You're right. J&J, what is the story behind you? And I saw her, you and those satellite camps, man. I don't know. You're going to have to give me, maybe not here, but one of these days you're going to have to give me the background on that. And when J&J was on my show a couple weeks ago, I meant to get him to do his Ed Orgeron impression, but I totally forgot. It's hilarious. Sounds like the guy off Waterboy. Oh, man. Hit my funny bone on my chair. Who else we got in here? Is anybody else? Well, guys, I've been at it about an hour. It's 11 p.m. Eastern. I've been at it. Yeah, I've been at it an hour. It's 10 o'clock. So probably ought to jump off of here. J&J, Jim Harbaugh used to have these satellite camps and crazy. Oh, yeah. Okay, I did hear about that. Didn't he do that as like a charity thing? That's what I always thought. For recruits? That's weird. Apparently, it doesn't look like it's worked. I always thought he done that for charity. I didn't realize he was actually recruiting. I thought he was going to these countries to show kids how to play football or something. I thought he was just a good person. I don't know. Maybe not. That's funny though. Guys, I'm gonna jump off of here. I believe I got to get in the shower and get ready for a long drive home tomorrow. So y'all be sure to look for that. I'm probably gonna do another top 12 video at some point in the next couple of days. Yeah, I agree, John. No, he's a weirdo. Just talking about Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, John, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I did that on. I can't. I did that on Sunday. I didn't want to do it right after the game because I was emotional too, and I don't like to do videos when I'm emotional because I probably would have gone on there and bashed the team or something, which is what I don't want to do. So I got to wait till I settle and have time to reflect on the game. Yeah, y'all too. Thanks, guys. Hey, good night, everybody. I'm gonna chime out, or I'm gonna sign out. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. It means a lot to me, and hopefully I'll try to do these more often. Okay, y'all take care. Good night. Thanks, John.